Welcome to another episode of the Unexpected Detour. I am your host, Frances Hammond. Today we're joined by two remarkable guests, Debra Meyerson and her husband, Steve Zuckerman. Their story begins with a life-changing stroke in 2010. But what followed was a powerful journey of healing, identity, and purpose. Together, they co-authored Identity Theft. I like that name, by the way, and founded Stroke Onward, an organization focused on emotional recovery that follows a stroke, rebuilding identity, voice, and meaning. I'm honored to share their unexpected detour with you today. So we'll start with the question. What was life like before the stroke?
It's three kids. Danny is the senior at college. Uh, Adam is the first the week I dropped him off college half a week for in Tufts, and Sarah, the high school senior.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And married, the academic Stanford, skiing, sailing, hiking, families and friends, and really a lot of. I love my life.
I'm glad.
Yeah, we had a pretty full life, and we were both in the swing of careers. We were almost empty nesters. We had 3 more years of our youngest, our daughter, at home, and so we really were kind of in that phase. We were starting to think about, like, what's it going to be like when the kids are all off to college?
So you still have one at home?
Not now, but
Oh.
when Deb had the stroke in 2010, our daughter was a sophomore in high school.
Okay.
The other two were freshman and senior in college.
Oh,
They're all grown.
Yeah.
Two are married.
they're
One's
gone now, right? I'm sure you miss them though, right? Sometime.
Yes, I really miss them.
Deborah probably misses the boys, and you miss the girls, right?
Yeah.
I think we both miss them all,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's a little truth to that. She had me wrapped around her finger, no question.
Yeah, that's why I said the boys, they're always close to the mother. So yes. What do you remember about the day everything changed?
I had a really bad headache for 5 months. Two incidents. June, Sarah's stacker dame putting over the press.
Not a crash. You didn't crash.
No.
Pulled over just to make sure you wouldn't crash.
Yeah. And July, the Adams here with me, and the fire truck, and really, the 4 minutes more, I had a MRI and neuroexam, nothing, no stroke at all.
Yeah. So Deb had some signals that maybe something was wrong, for 6 months before her stroke, but going to the doctor, getting scans, they couldn't find anything wrong. And then it was in September.
Yeah.
You want to go?
The September 5th, we are going to Lake Tahoe, and my leg feels so weak, and I am hiking. Now I'm hiking. The next day, I had to really my arm.
Want me to take it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we drove up to Tahoe. Deb's leg felt weird and a little weak, but nothing serious. And Deb, being Deb, was like, "It's fine, it'll be fine." And we got up, we went for a hike, we went out for dinner, and then the next morning she had a headache, and I was giving her aspirin, and I noticed she had a hard time picking it up with her right hand. And I had heard that often a sign of stroke is one side of the body weak. And so with the leg having felt weird and then the arm, that's when we kind of knew something was weird. But compared to a lot of strokes, Deb's stroke kind of came on slowly. It wasn't an all of a sudden thing. So it really wasn't for 12 to 14 hours. I mean, they diagnosed the stroke very quickly with a scan, but she was still talking and saying, "Oh, I got to start teaching in 3 weeks."
Yeah.
So this is, she was kind of denial. But it was about 24 hours before all the damage was apparent, and she was paralyzed on the right side and couldn't even utter a sound, let alone a word. So
Yeah.
most of that Deb really wasn't aware of. Once she started to slide, she, her brain was doing what a brain does during a stroke. It was kind of shut down.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But I know we all have these unexpected detours, and that definitely was one for you.
Yeah. At 15 years later, really a lot.
Yeah, but you're still alive and you're still kicking,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's kicking.
Okay. What are the biggest challenges during that early recovery?
The 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 I am really 15 years. I three. I am still. I am still occupational therapy, speech therapy, the physical therapy. I'm going to be better really soon. And the 3 years after my stroke, I had to give up tenure. The reason is that the visa is a reason. I am Stanford is so hard. I am really depressed, and I'd like to do the book. Writing a book is so hard.
Especially with aphasia. Yeah, I mean, if I can add just a little bit, for the first 3 years, Deb was working her butt off. She called it the hardest job she'd ever had, and with the full expectation that with enough hard work and time, she'd get back to life as she knew it, and that we'd get back to life as we knew it. But Stanford was super supportive, but they have a policy that you can only be on medical leave for 3 years, and then if you can't come back to the job, you have to release it so that they can fill the position with someone else. And
Wow.
and that was really like a second trauma for Deb and for us, because that's when we had to, we kind of had to acknowledge that maybe life was going to be different, that this wasn't just a blip. This was kind of a permanent detour. We were going to have to be on a new path, not get back to the old path.
Yeah.
Are you from the East Coast?
I grew up on Long Island, about 60 miles outside of New York, and Deb grew up in Detroit. So
Oh, okay.
we're
Okay.
California transplants.
Oh, you like it out there about it anyway?
We do. We met in grad school out here, so we've
Oh,
been
okay.
here since.
Oh, okay. So it worked out good. Okay. What does identity loss mean in your journey? And how did you begin rebuilding?
I have really a lot of identities. Some will be the same, and some are changing. Stroke changes all and at once. The uh, the older I am a grandmother, and yeah, and my uh, uh, my Brooklyn. I Danny was in. Danny works at Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our son and daughter-in-law and grandson are in Brooklyn. But I think,
Oh, they live in New York.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
but I think, Deb used to teach before the stroke in her work around organizational change and people of difference who can drive change within the organization. It was a lot about navigating identity. How do you work in an organization that might not reflect your identity as the dominant identity, and how do people navigate fitting in but also hanging on to their identity. And one of the things Deb taught was that identities change all the time.
Yeah.
We're all evolving, we're all changing. But
I
with the
think we use
stroke,
the code switching a lot too.
exactly.
Mhm.
With the stroke, it like so much changed at once.
Yeah.
And especially, as Deb said, she had lots of identities, but a lot of her sense of self was tied up in being a professor,
Yeah.
being at Stanford. And so when the realization that she had to leave that really is kind of what triggered what we call the identity crisis, that really made her say, "Oh my God, who am I going to be now if I can't be that person that I've been for the past 20 years, and the rest of my life." So, I think the beginning of rebuilding candidly was, Deb was kind of like, well, if I can't be an academic at Stanford, I'm still an academic. I want to write a book. So I'll write a book about stroke recovery. And it was the process of writing the book and turning the lens of identity on herself and then on 24 other survivors that she interviewed and their families and professional caregivers. That's really what began her process of rebuilding her own identity as well.
Yeah, I think sometimes when you go through something, your journey could speak to somebody else's journey.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah,
And I think
because
from the beginning, a lot of people said, "Oh, you're going to write a memoir," and Deb was like, "I am not writing a memoir," and that's why she wanted to interview other people, because her journey is just one journey.
Yeah.
right.
And she wanted to represent a much broader set of experiences so that more people could connect with the book.
Yeah, because I know I have my journey with breast cancer and everybody's is different.
Yeah.
So I can't go by what they went through because I went through something different.
Yeah.
That's why I try to tell people everybody's story is different. The only person that can tell that story is that person.
Yeah. I agree.
You can't do anything else. You can't dress it up. It's their story to tell. Okay. I love the name of the book though.
Yeah.
Identity theft.
Yeah.
And I get it because when you go through something, part of you is gone.
Yeah.
And then you find a new you. Is that how you felt, Deborah?
The days change, or in this, it's say I am still working hard, the occupational therapy and physical therapy. If, six, no, 15 years later. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the kind of big ahas for us is, one, are you looking at identity as the manifestation of who you are? Like, I'm a professor,
Yeah.
or are you looking at sort of what that means to
Yeah.
you? For Deb, that's creating and sharing knowledge. Well, so if you're saying a tenured professor at Stanford, her identity has changed. She's
Yeah.
no longer that. But if you say she's a person who is working to create and share knowledge,
Yeah.
that identity is the same as it was before her stroke. So I think a lot of, are you a new person or a different person? It's both, but it depends on how you're looking at it. She's still tenacious. She's still a hard worker. That's part of her identity. That hasn't changed. Now she's a stroke survivor. That wasn't part of her identity before the stroke.
Yeah.
So, those are pieces that have changed.
Yeah.
But that's her experience is teaching other people.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm sure they said, if you could do it, I can do it, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So you're a
yeah,
big encouragement to other people because they see what
yes.
you went through.
And the stroke onward, the circle, stroke connection.
Stroke Onward Community Circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, just when the book came out, the first edition came out in 2019. Just in talking to people, we realized we had struck a chord around this idea that recovery is as much emotional as it is physical. It's as much about rebuilding your identity and rebuilding a rewarding life as it is about regaining capabilities. Of course, you want to regain as much as you can, but for most stroke survivors, that's never going to be everything. So the question then becomes, so then what? How do I rebuild? And so when we realized that so many people were saying to us, boy, this is exactly how I feel, but nobody's talking about it. And this is exactly what I experienced, but nobody in my medical journey ever said anything about this. That's when we decided to start Stroke Onward as a nonprofit, because we realized somebody's got to be talking about this stuff. There are, 7 million stroke survivors in the United States, and nobody's hearing and getting support for this emotional journey. So Deb was referencing that one of the major projects for Stroke Onward is something called the Stroke Onward Community Circle, or we call it SOC. And it's an online community where you can have chats and live events, and there's resources. And the idea is that people are all over the country. They're all having different experiences, but many people can learn from other people's experience. So how do you create a community that can learn from each other? And we also invite medical professionals and family members to be part of this community as well, so that it can be sort of a multi-perspective community of learning for stroke survivors. We'll send you, I don't know if you can put it in the show notes or.
Oh, I can put it in the notes. Yeah, whatever you send me, I can put it in the notes. So, Debra, I guess you made a difference.
Yeah. I am still making a difference. Yeah.
Exactly. You can't teach as a professor, but you're teaching something different.
Yeah.
You're teaching people that they could survive.
Yeah. And the classes, the classes I love to the phasa classes. Really, a lot of the phasa classes. We have the guest speaker. You
want me to help?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a dozen or more speech therapy professors around the country are using the book in their curriculum because they think speech therapists need to understand that it's not just about the technicality of helping somebody regain speech, but how they use that to rebuild their life. And we've done a lot of guest speaking, Deb in particular, in classes. So in a different way, Deb's back in the classroom.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so she's back to teaching again.
Yeah.
So that makes you feel good, right?
I like teaching a lot. I love teaching. Yeah.
That's what I said. So now you're back with
Yeah.
people and you're teaching them something that they've never experienced before.
Yeah.
And it's all through you.
Yeah.
That's why I said that should make you feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I said the detours, they stop you for a minute, but they lead you to a different place.
I agree.
A place where you make an impact in somebody's life.
Yeah. And we are the not that's not.
That's a never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, she was gonna say something. She changed her mind.
No.
Change your mind.
Yeah.
Oh, so what message do you want survivors and caregivers to take away from your story?
The hope and meaning and joy that and purpose are the really I am still frustrated multiple times a day, and the meaning, purpose, and joy are
I mean, what I would add to that is, give yourself permission to grieve. Like you said earlier, Francis, we lose something. There's something about our lives, things we loved that may be lost forever. And that's something to grieve and give yourself that time. Obviously, we don't want to get stuck in that grief, but we also can't deny it. But I think one of the other things we talk about a lot is, but around that grief, you can build a new great life, and don't think about it as much as you can. Don't compare it to your old life. You don't want to build a lesser version of your old life. You want to build a new life, and you may have different constraints, but you can still build a great life. And I think we were just talking to another stroke survivor about this. Sometimes when people say, my stroke gave me great gifts, it gave me the opportunity to do things I never would have done. People translate that into, so you're glad you had a stroke?
Yeah.
Well, no, of course not. It sucks. But that doesn't mean you can't celebrate that some good things can come from it. You can find those new paths that can be incredibly rewarding, and sometimes even more rewarding than the paths you were on before.
Yeah.
You find your creativity in those detours.
Yeah, I agree.
That's exactly what happens. The creativity comes out, it comes alive, and you're like, why haven't I done this all along?
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
So Deborah's teaching. You still teach, Steve?
Well, the last time I taught was I used to teach tennis when I was in college, but no, I'm not an academic. My career has been in business and in nonprofit leadership.
Oh, okay.
And I am still affiliated with a nonprofit in economic justice that I was had a leadership position in for a long time, but I stepped away from my leadership position about 5 years ago, so that Deb and I could build Stroke Onward.
Yeah.
And so it was really her background as an academic and a stroke survivor, mine as a nonprofit leader and a stroke care partner. That's what we sort of brought together to create Stroke Onward, given our
So this organization is something people can come online and they can so it's worldwide? Or it's just within the United States?
I mean, it's on the World Wide Web, so people can find it from any place.
No, the Australia and Israel.
Yeah, we partner with a lot of organizations worldwide. most of our work's in the U.S. and our real mission is to try to improve the U.S. healthcare system to make it
That would help.
more
Yeah.
supportive of stroke survivors around the emotional journey and recovery. So we feel like trying to improve the U.S. healthcare system is more than enough. We don't think we can solve it for the rest of the world.
No, the healthcare, they don't understand what it is like for that person to go through something. That's why.
Yeah.
So they don't see it as a big issue. You hear about strokes, you hear about cancer, you hear about this, but unless you've gone through it,
Yeah.
then you really get the gist of what it feels like.
Yeah.
So I have empathy when it comes to things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, because nobody would understand what it feels like to go through something, to have, like you said, identity loss, to have your identity taken away.
Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't ask for it, but something happened where it just left. It didn't leave, like you said, Deborah. You just find a new identity.
Yeah.
And sometimes the new identity is better than the old one.
I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah.
You're doing an awesome job. So I think even though you were teaching, you're still teaching.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're teaching people how to live with this stroke.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're teaching them how to live. You're telling them that you're their example that life goes on.
Yeah. We had the 3 years ago, the stroke across America, we had a bike ride to 4,500 miles across the country.
We one of the activities, we talk a lot about adaptation, that maybe you can't do things the way you used to, but you can do them differently. We used to cycle a lot. Deb can't ride her own bike because of her right side weakness. So now we ride a tandem bicycle. And shortly after we started Stroke Onward, we had always had a dream of riding bicycles across the United States. And so we did. And we organized a trip and we invited two other survivors, one brain injury survivor, another stroke survivor. And we led a trip from Oregon to Boston for 3 months and held events all the way across. And that was just so inspiring to us to bring together 50, 100, 150 people whose lives had been affected by stroke, family members, stroke survivors, and hear them tell their stories.
And the therapists too.
Yeah, lots of medical professionals that we had gotten to know came out. And that actually, Deb mentioned Syracuse before. The public broadcasting station in Syracuse, WCNY, has produced a 30-minute documentary about our trip across the country and how it fueled.
You sent that to me.
Stroke Onward, yeah. So it's available on their website. They haven't actually aired it yet. They're waiting to secure a few more sponsors before they air it.
Okay.
But it's
They're
available.
like a public broadcasting station then.
Exactly.
And
But
you
it's
need
available on the website now. So you can include that link in show notes.
So when I'm done, I'm going to put everything there because this is something that people can use or relate to.
Yeah.
Because I know strokes are really a silent thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Deb had she had warnings, but they didn't find anything.
Yeah.
And then some people, they just have it
Yeah.
without even knowing they're having this.
Yeah.
So yes, this is very important, very beneficial conversation because a lot of people don't know, that they've had a stroke. Just like with the Bell's palsy, people don't even know when they've had that.
Yeah.
Their mouth is just twisted. Yeah, they don't even realize that.
Yeah.
So that's why I said this is very good. Debra and Steve, I'm going to take us out. And then before I leave, I got to tell you something, Steve. Yes. Thank you for joining us for this heartfelt conversation. Debra and Steve's experience reminds us that recovery is not just physical, It's emotional, spiritual, and deeply personal. Their work through Stroke Onward continues to guide survivors and caregivers as they rebuild life after stroke. I am grateful you tuned in today. Until next time, stay encouraged and remember, every detour still leads somewhere meaningful. The Unexpected Detour.